Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, and you're watching WGAN-TV live at 5. We have an awesome show for you today. I paid $299 for a Matterport Digital Pro bundle for a real estate listing, what every Matterport service provider should know. And our mystery shopper with us today, Tom Sparks, founder and CEO of Scan Your Space, a division of Sparks Media Group. Tom, thanks for being our subject matter expert on the show today.
I should have asked you to put the blue dot and do the weird, creepy FBI voice for me.
You can still do that if you want. You can be our mystery shopper. Before we jump into the topic of today's show, please, for context, tell us about Scan Your Space and Sparks Media Group.
So Sparks Media Group is my residential side of all things real estate media, photos, aerial, video, 3D tours, floor plans, property websites, geared towards residential photography. Scan Your Space is more of the commercial side, and I'm diving off into the AEC world, but that's marketed towards hotels, resorts, warehouses, restaurants, that sort of thing.
And the coverage area for Scan Your Space and Sparks Media Group?
Yeah, we're covering California. We're covering parts of Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas.
Awesome. And Tom, I thought you'd be exactly the right person for today's show. We had you on before a couple of times before, 10 pro tips for scanning with the Matterport Pro 3 camera, but also for where and when I use a Matterport Pro 2, Matterport Pro 3, Matterport Axis, Ricoh Theta Z1, and RS1, and BLK 360, and it turned out you scanned the same listing with 5 out of 6 of those solutions. For context for today, on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, Matterport announced its Matterport Digital Pro Bundle solution available through its company, its division VHT Studios that it acquired on July 7th, 2022. And that day I called you because I said, Tom, there's a lot of chatter in the We Get Around Network forum. People are wondering, is Matterport Digital Pro a threat or maybe even an opportunity or irrelevant? And maybe the easiest way to help have some context is actually go engage VHT Studios to shoot a listing, and even better to shoot the listing that you've shot with 5 other solutions. So anyway, I called you and on that Wednesday, and what'd you say?
What a great idea. It's quite the interesting time, I think, with real estate. This house has been on the market now for about a month or so, and huge shout out to the agent Sam Vera with In Motion Real Estate, because every time I feel like, is it Columbo? Just one more thing. Every time I text him and say, hey, I have another video I need to do, he's like, yeah, go over there. It's available. So yeah, it was a great idea. And luckily the house was available so that we really could have a great comparison for the previous work that we did over there.
So you're a mystery shopper. You engage VHT Studios for the Matterport Digital Pro Bundle, which includes, what did that include? And then let's talk about the top line conclusions.
Yeah, so they, and I'm just going to pull it up for reference. They say you get HDR photos, a 3D tour, floor plan, and a preview video, which is a $500+ value, starting at $299.
Great. So I said, hey, Tom, I'll pay you the $299, or We Get Around Network we'll pay you the $299. How about go shoot that previous listing? It'd be nice for yet another comparison and mystery shop. So you did exactly that. And before we talk about the process, you got your 4 digital assets. What's your conclusion? Let's start with the Matterport tour.
The tour was similar to what we provided to our client, which was the agent. The biggest issue was well, the second biggest issue was that they didn't scan the closets, which, sometimes we leave them off, but to get a complete floor plan and a complete tour, it's nice to have that information available. He didn't scan the closets, and the number one biggest issue was he forgot to scan an upstairs bathroom. So you see it in the hallway, but you can't go into it, and you can't see the shower, you can't see much of the vanity, you can't see the toilet, that kind of thing. So that was kind of a bummer.
Do you think about getting back to him and say, hey, you missed the bathroom, could you come out and add that to the Matterport tour and provide some photos of it as well?
No, because I didn't want to just one more thing with the real estate agent. But and we've missed bathrooms, in my business. We've missed bedrooms. Sometimes there's a door that looks like it's a closet, but there's, a whole other room behind that door.
Yeah, forgive me for interrupting. We're not showing anything, and I think it would be helpful for our viewers to know they can see all the deliverables at the We Get Around Network forum, WGANforum.com. You can search the subject line for $299, or since Tom is a very prolific content creator, poster in the We Get Around Network forum, go to WGAN.info/Sparks Media Group, all one word, and that'll take you to the We Get Around Network forum and a lot of content that Tom has posted to the forum. And just look for the post that has $299 in the headline. So you can actually go look at the Matterport tour, look at the photos, look at the floor plan, look at the teaser video. So we're talking about the Matterport tour. My impression was that photographer did a really good job doing the scanning. Interesting. Okay, your thoughts?
He missed a room. He missed a room that wasn't behind a hidden door.
Yes.
So, if the door was closed, I could see that. But I prepped the house before he got there. He missed a room.
Yes, I totally get it. You could say, on a pass-fail basis, maybe that's a fail because you missed the room. It's really important. I guess I felt for the photographer because it wasn't as if there were only one scan in each room. That's what I was actually anticipating was going to happen, and it wasn't. He scanned all the four corners, middle of a room, did a good job. It looked like capturing the scan data with a Matterport Pro 3 beta camera. Not
to cut you off, but a couple things about that. I was expecting him to do, 1 or 2 scans per room, but keep in mind that they're extracting the images, and we can talk about that. They're extracting the images from the scans. So you would think that they would do more scans in a room. And he was in the house for an hour. I did that whole house with the Pro 3 inside and outside in an hour and 15 minutes. And that was everything: closets, that bathroom, multiple scans in a room. On a scale of the floor plan, I'm not the floor plan, the 3D tour, how happy am I with it? I'd probably, give it a 7, 8 out of 10.
Could you have delivered it to your client knowing that it was missing a bathroom?
If that was my only deliverable to the client, I would make sure they went back and captured it, because you can't there's no images of that bathroom now in the photos. So
it would have been interesting just to know whether VHT Studios would have sent the photographer back at no additional expense to capture the space that they missed. I don't know, maybe you'll still make the ask, and if they come back and say yes, you'll say, okay, never mind, but you just curious whether they'd actually, still do that or not.
Yeah. Not to skewer them. I'm going to put all my confidence that if I asked them to come back and capture that space, they would. He was a very nice guy, so I don't think that he would say, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So how about outdoors? I personally was surprised to see 8 360 views outside. Frankly, I hadn't expected to see any, but then I guess if you say, well, but they're providing photos, and the only way to do an outdoor photo is to actually go shoot outside. I guess it's like two questions. Were you surprised that the photographer was not using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera with a real estate kind of lens on the camera and was having all the shots come from the Matterport tour?
For the price, I was not surprised. I fully expected that they were going to extract images from the camera. Yeah, so I was surprised that he did the 360s. I kind of was hoping he would have done, because it's the Pro 3, he would have just scanned outside. But again, for the price, you know, it's quicker just to shoot a couple 360s and place them on the map. And so, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by the number of outdoor scans that I did get. They weren't, you know, in the backyard, there wasn't enough to cover the entire backyard. The front yard, there was 2-3 shots, but the backyard, there wasn't enough.
Were you surprised that the Matterport tour had what I would call splatter?
I call it that too. I don't know if that's our made up name, or yeah, it's a
splatter. Yeah. I mean, I thought, oh, this is Matterport's product. They would get their own product to look as nice as possible.
That's a good point. I was surprised to see it. They just failed to mark a mirror and a window.
And a fireplace.
And a fireplace, yeah. I was surprised to see that. That's one thing that really, I don't know, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me when I'm looking at Zillow at houses and I see a 3D tour and I'm like, oh man, they missed that, or they didn't do that. So yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, you know, a couple seconds. And I've missed it too. But I check the deliverable before I give it to the client. And if I notice it, I'll re-upload, you know, I'll mark it correctly and re-upload it.
How about the photos? You got 25 pictures. Talk to me about those pictures and maybe even compare them to Sparks Media Group deliverable of photos.
Yeah, so good time for a shameless plug. I've made a video, and as soon as our call is over, I'm going to hit post on it and make it public. But I've made a video that compares a lot of that. It compares everything that we got from Matterport versus what I've delivered to the client from myself and my photographers.
Yes, and you'll be able to see that video in two places, on the Sparks Media Group YouTube channel. And Tom will also post that video to the We Get Around Network forum, WGANforum.com, or again, use that link, WGAN.info/Sparks Media Group. So, but talk to me about the pictures, the big picture about the 25 images that were delivered by VHT Studios.
Well, first was quantity. We got 25 images, but it, to me, wasn't enough to show the entire house in all its glory. I don't remember by looking at them if they missed any rooms in the pictures or if they, you know, but it just, you know, when I delivered images to the client, I delivered, I think, 55 images. And that was just me shooting the house as I normally would. And interestingly enough, I've been training a new photographer, and this was her second real estate shoot ever. And I just let her loose in the house and I said, capture it as I've trained you virtually, and, you know, give me what you get out of the house. And she delivered 50 images. So for them to give me 25, it's like, I would have expected more. And I think on their website at one point, it didn't have that 25 limit. Now it says on there that they'll give you 25 plus images for that amount. So I wonder if they scaled it back at some point, you know, between the time they launched it till now. But
yeah,
so quantity.
But what about also, so I hear quantity, watermark logo.
Yeah, so going into the quality kind of it, they threw their watermark on the bottom left corner, which is, I don't know, weird to me, because I don't know if MLS is going to appreciate advertising for them unless they're somehow tied in now with MLS.
And that's on each photo.
Each photo.
I want to say there were 3 outdoor pictures.
Yeah. Well, 3 that I compared, I think, in the video that I sent you.
So talk to me about the outdoor images.
So, and I'll talk about that, but the aspect ratio from the outdoor to the indoor was a little off. It looked like they cropped the indoor pictures more. So when you're looking at them in a gallery, the outdoor pictures will be nice, but the indoor pictures will have black bars at the top and the bottom. Outdoor, at first glance, it's like, okay, they did a blue sky swap. That's great. But then I realized they edited the grass. They raked it digitally and removed all the leaves. And then on top of doing the blue sky replacement, they removed the power lines from the shot, which is easy enough to do if you're just quickly going through it. You can
Seems like a big no-no to me.
miss that, but it's a huge no-no. Even just little things like making the grass greener could lead to false advertisement claims and stuff of that nature that's past my pay grade.
The power lines, I mean, I would not feel ethically, I just would feel uncomfortable and actually would refuse to do that because the property has power lines. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I'm not an editor, but what I assume happens, because I've done like some basic research in it and I've talked to my editors, if they're just doing a blank sky swap, it's easy enough to do. You have to then go in manually and Photoshop those lines back in or delete the sky in front of the line so that the lines show through.
All right. So they did the puffy blue, the blue sky with the puffy clouds. How about window pulls?
Well, and sorry, real quick about the sky. One thing that I highlighted in my video is that they use the same clouds in each shot, which is another nails on a chalkboard moment for me. I really hate that when I see the same pattern, regardless of how you're looking at the house, front yard, backyard, it's the same pattern. That just really bothers me.
Okay. Window pulls.
Yeah. So inside the house, I wasn't surprised to see that the windows were blown out. I was kind of surprised because, they touted on their website that the pictures are going to be edited. They also said that they'll edit them to meet their high quality standards. That's a quote from them. So I would have expected some more effort in showing the window pulls, but if the camera is putting out crap, then you can't really make a cake out of crap.
So I don't know, scale of 1 to 10, 10 you're super happy. What would you give in terms of a rating on the 25 images delivered?
A 4, 3. Oh, and we didn't even talk about in this one bathroom shot, which I'll highlight in the video, the vanity cabinet looked like a painter had came in and did part of it, but not the rest. It was totally discolored from the rest of the cabinet and even the wall. And that was some glitch with, Matterport. And some of the light fixtures looked like they were burning. They were on fire. Part of it was one color, part of it was the other. And
for a description of, I want to say, gee, there were a lot of beautiful adjectives on the VHT Studios website, Matterport Digital Pro website, HDR, beautiful images. I was expecting that they were going to actually have a photographer shoot DSLR or mirrorless camera using a wide angle real estate lens, but I guess going back to the price, $299 in California. This was in, I want to say, in Sassoon City, California, between Sacramento and San Francisco. That was a pretty good price. So if you were going to shoot the space twice, you would have been surprised that could have been done for $299.
Yeah, I was surprised. And, maybe they could have came in with a DSLR and shot like a single raw image and got some good data out of that and Photoshopped it. That would have got them through the house quicker. But yeah, I wasn't surprised of the quality of the deliverables. They were kind of on par with what I expected. I was surprised that they delivered that bathroom shot to me in some of those lighting fixture shots where they just looked horrendous.
How about floor plans? What were your thoughts about the floor plans delivered?
So I've done 8 or 9 floor plans on the same house. And I'm kind of like in floor plan overload. The floor plans were very on par with all the other ones that I've done, including with the Pro 3. The one thing is that in this particular house, in the primary closet, there's a bump out, probably to hide some sort of ducting, and that cuts into some of the usable closet space. And you wouldn't know that unless you actually scanned inside the closet. And so it's not represented on the floor plan that they provided because they didn't do in the closets. And that I think would be a huge deal. If you care about closet size and you have a lot of
Yeah.
clothes, to miss
Well,
that 2 or 3 feet of broad space is, kind of a big deal.
And they could have put it in. No, the closet doors were closed. So unless the photographer captured inside the closet, they wouldn't have known that there was an impediment inside the closet that would
Right.
be material to somebody making a buying decision. On the floor plan, since they were missing one of the bathrooms, did they get the bathtub correct? Was it oriented correctly on the floor plan that you recall?
They did get it correct from what I remember. I'm pulling it up now, but I think they did.
I wonder if they went and looked at some previous pictures of the house by, looked it up on MLS or something, because I was surprised to see that they had configured a bathtub that couldn't be seen in the photos or in the Matterport tour.
No, I'm looking at it right now. They did get it correct.
Okay, so when I looked at the floor plans, I think two of my takeaways were looks like Matterport floor plans, black and white, except no Matterport logo. I would say that was a plus. There was no VHT Studios logo in the PDF, but it was, if you treated it like a photo, did it have the VHT Studios watermark logo on it?
No, because our watermark is white and the background was white, so it didn't show up.
It didn't show up. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was in Matterport's terms of service to not edit their logo out.
Yeah,
Just
very,
thinking of that.
it was interesting. I guess if you're Matterport and your division, VHT Studios wants to keep it out, that's okay. And measurements, can you speak about measurements within the floor plan, not within the floor plan?
Yeah, they were unremarkable. The room measurements were unremarkable compared to the other ones. I didn't see anything too off. They were, very, very similar. It's always going to be a little off, just depending on even the guy at the same company who's drawing it. So yeah, I can't complain about that.
And the bundle, the Matterport Digital Pro bundle, included a video.
Do you want to call it that?
I've teed it up for you, Tom.
Put me in, coach. The Matterport bundle included a 12-second preview video, which showed the kitchen and then the family room connected to the kitchen. And that's it.
So it was a teaser video for Matterport service providers. They'll be familiar with in My Matterport, be able to download the video. That was what the video was. What always bothers me about those videos is the walls are slanted when you're looking at the video. It's like from photographer. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they could have spent a little time. I have people that work for me that'll do that in an hour and get a nice, good 2-minute long video, minute long, however long you want it to be, with some music behind it. I think there's a huge opportunity for them there to spend a little extra effort, but to give literally just what comes out of the camera kind of sucked.
Okay, so we've now heard your thoughts on the deliverables, Matterport tour.
Can I go back to the floor plan for a second?
Pardon?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Can I go back to the 3D tour for a second?
Sure.
They didn't ask how I wanted the banner information to be, which I thought they could have asked, because when you click it, it says something like homeowner account and then the address. It doesn't have Thomas Sparks Presents or VHT Presents. It's kind of a generic thing, which I think they could have asked about that.
Okay, so let's go back up to the big picture. You've talked to us about the digital assets. I think every Matterport service provider wants to know, is Matterport Digital Pro, offered by its division VHT Studios, a threat to Matterport service providers?
I wouldn't think so. There's just the quality of what they put out is very similar to if you have somebody rushing through a house. You know, there's always going to be somebody who charges less than what you charge. That's just kind of the nature of the business. And before they launched this package, there's been other photography companies who will say, you know, $99 3D virtual tour or whatever. And it's like, okay, but you're going to get $99 worth of a 3D virtual tour. You're going to get a mist bathroom, or you're going to get splatter, something like that. So I'm not at all concerned about this. If these window pulls had been crisp and clear, and I had got 40, 50 images, and I got, you know, a floor plan which was decent, and they didn't miss a bathroom, then yeah, I'd be like quaking in my boots. But for what I got out of this, I'm like, kind of feel like you got taken. You probably deserve about a 10% refund.
I'm looking forward to my $29.90 back. So I want to still push back on you a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're a professional photographer. You have professional photographers that work for you.
Only on Tuesdays.
You're giving me a professional photographer's opinion. Let's just flip it around and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Was the deliverable good enough to win the next listing? That's really what, it's not about selling this house. The house is going to sell anyway. Is this going to help the real estate agent win more and bigger premium listings, despite the fact that you described the package as being mediocre? I think you used the word sucks.
Sorry, it's my elementary school education. No, you know, there's a huge issue, well, and I don't know if you want to get into like the whole process, but with scheduling this, that kind of came up. Whereas an agent,
yeah, we'll talk about that. But
okay.
I just on the
So from the
deliverable,
deliverable, you know, I have roughly 700 agents that order from us at any given time, and I've talked to at least 5 of them since this came out, and I kind of was just running it past them, and they all said no, they wouldn't order it. They're annoyed by what I went through as far as getting it scheduled. And I talked to somebody as late as last night about it, and she's like, oh no, we wouldn't, you know, we need more than 25 images, and that video, I wouldn't use that. So again, you're going to find agents who are just only care about the bottom dollar, and they want to save as much money as possible, and maybe they have a small commission on a house, or they're doing a favor for a friend where they might take advantage of it. But you know, I don't see this appealing to the majority of my clients.
Is it possible that Matterport's doing you a favor, because it's taking all the bottom feeders from even maybe calling you until they've had an unhappy experience, and after they've had that unhappy experience, then they'll be seeking a solution?
Well, I hope they call me, and who knows, I guess we'll find out once I post my video.
Okay, let's go back to the timeline. So Matterport announces Matterport Digital Pro services available through its division VHT Studios on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. I call you that Wednesday, and I say, Tom, what do you think? You say, yes, let's do this. What then happens? Talk to us about timing, because I think there's some timing issues that are important here.
Yeah. So you'll be Batman, I'll be Robin. You called me and said, let's get on this. And so I placed the order on the 16th at 10 a.m.
The next morning. Yeah.
Next morning.
And was that online? Did you talk to someone? Did you email?
That was online. I went on their website and I recorded it, so that's in the video. But I went online, I created the order. Now you want me to go through the timeline before the process, or you want me to just tell you the process as I'm going through the time?
The process as you're doing this. So what happened? Did you just pick out a time and day that you wanted to have it scheduled?
No, so I wasn't even given that option, which is a huge deal. And I've heard from my agents that that's a huge deal. They don't want to have to wait. They don't want to have to guess. They just want to be able to create an order and go.
So you created an order, meaning you paid for it, but you had no idea when the photographer would come out.
Yeah, so it asked me the address information. It asked me what services I wanted to to order. It asked me if I
Mhm.
wanted to add on services, and then it
Mhm.
asked me to pay for it. And that was it. I didn't get an order number. I did get an email confirmation that my order was placed, but there's no order number in there. And it said that somebody would reach out to me. And I don't have the timeline on when they told me. I think they said within 1 day. Don't quote me on that.
Okay, reach out to you in 1 day to talk about scheduling.
Correct.
Okay, so that was Thursday. I think the next day, Friday.
So the next day, Friday, I got an email, and I wasn't, and I'm sorry, they said that they would reach out via text or phone call.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't checking my email, as I should. And I realized at 10:13 on the 17th, I got an email asking if the following Tuesday at 10 a.m. works. And I didn't see that. So the very next email, which was 4 minutes later, says, okay, well, we've confirmed it for this time. And they said
Tell me the time again.
the 21st at 10 a.m.
The 21st, which is what day? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you went to schedule on a Thursday, no shoot on Friday, no shoot on Saturday, no shoot on Monday. Now the shoot is Tuesday. Sparks,
No shoot on Sunday.
no shoot on Sunday. So from a Sparks Media Group standpoint, how does your ordering process work in comparison?
We shoot 7 days a week. The agents get to put the date and time they want us there, and we'll be there. Occasionally, which is 1 out of every 500 orders, we may have to say, can you push the shoot back an hour? Can you move it up an hour? But we're pretty much like the Uber of real estate photography, true on demand.
Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll save some of these towards the end of the show. And we'll
Yeah.
talk about ways to maybe differentiate yourselves from
Sure.
Matterport Digital Pro. And certainly one of them is like, when would you like, what time and day would you like us to be out there to shoot?
Yeah, but what was annoying
opposed
for me,
to, like you were in limbo, but I'm almost thinking, if I'm the agent and it's Thursday, I want the shot like today, tomorrow, Saturday,
Yeah.
Monday, not
agents
Tuesday.
have agents have timing rules with MLS where they have to get photos and media uploaded by a certain time once they take a listing, from what I understand. And
All
so,
right, so 10 a.m. Tuesday. You got the appointment. Did you speak to the photographer? Is this all done by email?
well, so let me rewind a little bit. Before I got this email, I reached out to Matterport and I said, hey, or VHT, whoever the 800 number was, I
VHT
reached out.
Studios, yeah.
Yeah. And I said, hey, when's this scheduled for? And they said, well, a photographer's been assigned. And I said, okay, can I have their information so I can talk to them about timing? And they said, we don't have that information. And I said, okay. So I just waited. And then I get this email, and then 4 minutes later, it says, okay, it's been scheduled. And they did say, to be fair to them, please let me know if this does not work and we can try to reschedule. And I just replied and I said, okay, that works. And she says, great, thanks. And I didn't have any communication with the photographer. And I forgot to put that in the video, but he did email me the night before. And he said, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'll be there at your shoot. And I said, okay, great. He emailed me on the 20th. So the night before he texted me the 20th, the night before at 6 p.m. and said,
Okay,
I'll be
so
there tomorrow at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Tuesday, what happens?
10 a.m. Tuesday, he was there. He might have been there a few minutes early, but I was in the car not paying attention. But yeah, he was there right on time. He, interestingly enough, his camera it stood out, and I was like, what's going on? And it had all this checkerboard on it. And I realized from seeing that before on some of the different Facebook forums that it was like the beta version or something. They blocked out
of the Matterport Pro 3 camera. So
Yeah.
I guess what I'm wondering is every shoot for Matterport Digital Pro service done with a Matterport Pro 3 camera, or did it just happen that the photographer that came out used the Matterport Pro 3 and pulled the images, still images from the tour? Or is it possible that someone else gets a Matterport Pro 2
photographer.
and images are pulled out of the Matterport Pro 2. And then I'm not sure what would happen with outdoor. I suppose they could still do the 360 views outdoors and do the outdoor shots. So I think that's unclear. I mean, the good news is your listing was shot with a Matterport Pro 3 camera beta.
Yeah. And I don't know that there's any difference between beta and a regular Pro 3 production.
Okay.
But
so then how soon until you got back, or how did the shoot go? And then when did you start getting assets back?
So the shoot, I sat in the car, he went in, did his thing, came out an hour later, and he said he was done. He said he would upload it on his way home, and he said I should get an email when it's complete. Now on their website, or somewhere I read, the following business day after your shoot, you'll receive an order complete email with a link to preview your photographs using our on-demand review and delivery system.
I'm confused because the Matterport's been promoting, I want to say 1 to 2 day delivery. And I'm thinking that's 1 to 2 day delivery from the time that the shoot occurred.
It's not clear. I'm looking at a PDF from VHT that says, the following business day. Now, is it here? It says the following business day. Is your 1 to 2 days, 1 to 2 days, or 1 to 2 business days? Either way, I didn't get an email until the shoot was on the 21st. I didn't get an email till the 24th at 1:30 p.m.
Whoa. I can't do dates.
Okay.
So the shoot was 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, and then
on Friday at 1:30 p.m. I got an email saying my order was complete.
Now, how can that possibly be? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days?
Yeah. Now, I did lock my account out. And so the day before, I was trying to go in and check status on it. Once they unlocked my account, I logged in and I did see that I had deliverables there, but I didn't get that order that order complete email until.
Okay, so 4 days later, it's possible that the digital assets were available within 24 hours or within 48 hours within the VHT Studios content management system, but you hadn't logged in, so we're a little bit fuzzy on exactly when those digital assets were available.
Yeah, but I'm going off of just your orders complete email, which was, 1:30
4 days later.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so anything else on the timeline to talk about? I want to say you received this email within you went to the content management system and there were links to download all the digital assets, get the link. For the Matterport, was it a branded and unbranded version?
They have only the branded version of the 3D tour link.
Branded version in this case, there really wasn't any agent info and there wasn't any. So it's a good question. Are you able to edit the Matterport tour?
No. Nope.
Were you able to tell them, this is what I want for the real estate agent name info to be in the tour? No, there's no option to do any of that.
Not at least without emailing them. I'm sure I could email them and say, hey, can you correct this title or change this? And they would, but they did provide me with a branded link and an MLS link to their version of a property website, which has the photos, the 3D tour, floor plans.
Oh, okay. So this is important. So there is a deliverable of a single property website that includes Matterport, the photos, the teaser video, and the floor plans.
There is.
And you could use that in MLS, both branded and you had a branded and unbranded version.
Yes, but their unbranded version of their property website includes the branded version of the 3D tour.
The unbranded includes the branded version of the tour.
Meaning if you're on their property website, looking at their unbranded property website, which is MLS compliant, and you click on a 3D tour link, you'll get the branded version of that 3D tour.
Okay, could you add that link to the forum post, WGAN forum post, so we can see that too? Okay, so I want to switch gears, unless there was something else you wanted to talk about on timeline.
No.
Okay, so what I want to switch gears to is to talk about how even if this is not a threat to photographers, how Matterport service providers can differentiate themselves from the offering by VHT Studios. And so far, I think I've heard like maybe 10 things. I'm going to see if I can remember them. First, when you go to book, if you offer, what day and time would you like to shoot, that's a big win over finding out 2 days later. Two, when you deliver the digital assets, is commit to delivering them within 24 hours, not 1 to 2 days, which may actually have been 4 days. Three, don't put a logo on every photo. Four is to have photos that have nice window pulls. Is to say, I mean, that seems like a differentiator, is the quality of your images looks better. 5 is the quantity of the photos that you provide. 6, help me out. What other things from your perspective would help differentiate a Matterport service provider from the Matterport Digital Pro / VHT Studios offering?
Be very tedious and just scan the house completely. It's always better to scan a closet and hide the scan later if you don't need it, versus not having that data.
Okay. 6, overscan so your floor plans can be better.
Deliver shots. When we're using our DSLRs or our mirrorless cameras to shoot real estate photos, we try to shoot each room from every corner.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that with the understanding that we're not an expert in marketing, and maybe an agent won't like the angle that we deliver them. With this, we're going to extract 25 images. You're kind of limited to what they're giving us in terms of being able to use for marketing. So scanning the house completely and having more scan points to be able to extract the images from, if that's what you do, is a different differentiator.
Mm-hmm. Let me rattle off some others and then see if you've come up with some more. I'm thinking that, those floor plans were delivered in black and white. Offer them in color. Single property website. Didn't sound like you were overly enjoy in terms of the single property website they delivered. Maybe use a third-party platform to offer a really nice single property website. Vanity URL. 123mainstreet.com. Do you do that for any of your listings?
We do. We offer custom domains.
Custom domains.
Yeah. We offer branded, unbranded, MLS compliant links for all our deliverables, floor plans.
What about on the floor plans? I noticed that, and this is a topic you've gotten into great length, and yet another video on ANSI compliant floor plans that have the total living area, gross living area. Are you doing that now? ANSI compliant floor plans from Matterport,
we're offering that
using a third-party solution?
No.
Okay. So
I mean, there is 1 or 2 companies that say they are, but I don't want to say I wouldn't trust them. When we're offering ANSI compliant floor plans, we're either using the Cubicasa app on the phone, or we're using iGuide. Okay.
Were you surprised that that in a Matterport offering there wasn't a Matterport highlight reel or Matter tags?
That's not something that any of my clients
they don't care about.
Asked for. They don't care about that. I know a lot of MSPs will go through the trouble of putting those together, and that's great. There could be some value in that, but my clients don't.
So it may or may not be a differentiator. We talked about video. It seemed like there were at least 2 opportunities. One is to create a real video from the Matterport tour. If you don't have that expertise in-house, there's certainly members of the We Get Around Network forum community that offer that. And second is actually to shoot a video, or a real listing video. And I didn't see that as an add-on offered by VHT Studios. I don't believe they had add-ons of aerial photos and video, twilight, virtual staging, virtual decluttering.
They do have a full motion video. I don't know if it's on their order form. It's certainly on their website. 60 to 90-second video, which includes a 15-second teaser video, 2-day turnaround for $250.
Yeah. So my impression was the add-on pricing was somewhat high on most of the items. And I think, but in any event, if you're trying to compete with the Matterport Digital Pro bundle, your bundle might include video.
Yeah, especially if you're using something like one of the 360 cameras, you can, and I've done it, and I'm very basic at video editing, but you can take I did Insta360 1RS 1-inch and walked around a property with it in about, 10 minutes time. And because you're able to reframe the 360 video, I can make a nice, almost FPV drone fly-through video using that. And it, from start to finish, including walking around the property, it might take me 2 hours. And that's with me not really doing video editing on a regular basis.
I missed what you said. Was that a first person video? The initials stood for
FPV, first person point of view. So, like the
you can
FPV
edit within the
drones.
360 video for whatever perspective, whatever field of view that you want to include in the video.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I also heard, I don't know if this is a differentiator or not, but trimming the model to look nice. I mean, I was surprised that Matterport is delivering its own solution and it's got splatter in the Matterport tour.
Trimming it to look nice, that kind of attention to detail. I would add that in the same boat of scanning the house completely.
When do you charge for tours? VHT Studios charged you at the time that you placed the order. Do you charge when assets are delivered?
No, our orders are prepaid. Everybody does it differently. I've had agents say, "Can you bill me at the close escrow?" And I say, "No, we're not going to do that. You got to pay up front." So we charge up front. There's nothing wrong with that. If somebody's
just looking for ways that photographers might differentiate themselves from the Matterport Digital Pro bundle.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that in one of those.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of how a MSP, a Matterport service provider, might differentiate themselves, maybe even make Matterport irrelevant?
Well, deliver more images. I think we covered that. Cropping the images so that they're all the same aspect ratio is important. Possibly bringing a DSLR on site with you and grabbing shots that way.
So we talked about a lot of stuff. Do you think those matter to real estate agents, or really it's going to depend on the client?
They matter. The majority of my clients want images that all look consistent. They don't want to have 10 images look great and 2 of them look bad. None of my clients would have accepted that bathroom with the weird colored walls that was delivered. Quality matters, especially if you're paying for a service. You want value for that service, and if you feel like you're not getting value for that service, you're going to have an issue with it. So they may, hook, line, and sinker somebody in with that $299 price, but I wonder how much repeat business they're going to get where somebody's like, "This is a great value." Especially, taking that out. I'm not the greatest photographer, and my company doesn't provide top of the line, best pictures in the world. However, my customer service skills, to quote the famous Mike Tyson, is impeccable. And so, there's a huge missed opportunity with VHT/Matterport on the customer service side. The experience I had.
That's hard to differentiate yourself, because you can say, "Hey, we provide impeccable customer service," as opposed to the others that don't provide impeccable. But until somebody actually places an order and maybe goes through some of those pain points that you experienced, was, "Oh, I just paid. When is my tour? Oh, okay, my tour's been scheduled. Oh gosh, it's 4 days after the time I called to get my tour scheduled. Okay, when do I get my digital assets? Oh, that was 4 days late. 4 days later versus overnight. So those are kinds of all pain points that equal customer service. But until somebody actually goes through that, can you actually tell them to say our customer service is better?
Well, that speaks to, customer retention and how to keep your customers coming back. My customers come back frequently because of the customer service. And as I was going through those pain points, I was like, well, yep, this is Matterport, 3 weeks to respond to a trouble ticket, or, saying that there's a photographer assigned, but not having that information available. Like, I would just say, no, we don't have anybody assigned yet. I wouldn't say, yeah, we do, but I can't tell you who it is because I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, so I think today is Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. I think I'll start in the We Get Around Network forum a list of ways that Matterport service providers can differentiate themselves from Matterport Digital Pro, from this VHT Studios, because I think there are very clear ways to say, this is how I'm different. And, just to pick one little small thing is, if you're the agent and you place an order at 10 a.m. on Thursday, your expectation might be that you're going to have this shot and have the deliverables by Saturday, not Friday of the following week.
Yeah. And, one thing I did learn out of this, which I might use, and I might tell my guys to use it, is the photographer was very meticulous when he was out front and on unlevel surfaces. He had his level on his cell phone and he was leveling the top of the Pro 3. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Matterport, I assume, corrects that a little bit if you're slightly off, but that was one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, that's a good point. So
all right, cool. So this kind of brings us to you mentioned to me that you'd gotten a survey from VHT Studios. I thought maybe you could open that survey. I understand you haven't filled it out yet, and just take us through the questions and tell us how you would answer those survey questions.
Sure. Let me get it pulled up here. I gotta find it.
Okay, and a reminder, you can see all the digital assets that Tom was delivered from VHT Studios. Just go to WGAN.info/Sparks Media Group. Tom is very prolific posting in the We Get Around Network forum. We gave him his own short code to go find all his posts. If you look for the one that has a $2.99 in a headline, that's the topic we're talking about today. I paid $299 for Matterport Digital Pro bundle for a real estate listing, what every Matterport service provider should know. So look for that topic, and then you'll see all the deliverables. In addition, I'll just point this out, Tom, I know that I posted all the photos, all 25 photos in the We Get Around Network forum, but our forum, the We Get Around Network forum, does do a little bit of compression. So I put a link to a Dropbox, so anyone that really wants to see the actual images that were delivered, not how they're displayed in the We Get Around Network forum, you can go to the original images. And also, you can see the same house shot by the same listing shot by Tom using a Matterport Pro 2 camera, a Matterport Pro 3 camera, a Matterport Axis smartphone rotator, a Ricoh Theta Z1 360 camera, a Insta360 RS 1-inch. This house is probably the most photographed house with a Matterport solution of any listing, and you can see the differences. So I think that's interesting in itself. Okay.
So the video I'm going to put out here shortly has links to all those, and it also has a link to, I used a Google Drive, so it has a link to the Google Drive of all the actual images so people can look at them.
Awesome. Okay, so you got your survey from VHT Studios. What are the questions? What are your answers?
So, the survey, I was telling you kind of at the beginning of the call, it annoys me too, because it gives you 1 to 10, but what is good and what is bad? I'm going to assume 10 is good and 1 is bad on this. So ordering experience, I'm going to give it a 9, 10, maybe 9. Just because it's easy to order. I just wish they would have put that field in there that says, what time do you want us to show there, or what time do you want us to be there? Scheduling, I'm going to give it a 4. And that was time from ordering to the call from the photographer. I never got a call. I did get a text. Photographer's availability,
which is like one of those details. This is just kind of like if you tell me you're going to text me, I'm expecting a text. If you tell me you're going to email me, I'm expecting an email. If you're going to tell me you're going to call me, I'm expecting a call. It sounds like they still don't have at a tactical level, operationally, all these things worked out, surprisingly.
Yeah, especially, I don't know, they have to be rolling it out to a bunch of people. It's on their website, and that's a pretty popular website. So photographer's availability to shoot at your desired date and time, I'm going to give that a 0 or a 1 because they didn't give me a choice. They worked efficiently, dressed appropriately. I'm going to give that a 9 or 10. He was fine. Overall professionalism of the team, I'm going to give that a 5, just because that to me also speaks to photoshopping out power lines and delivering bad bathroom walls. Were they delivered in a timely manner? I'm going to give that a 7. Satisfaction with final photography services, I'm going to give it like a 4 or 3. Overall, and I'm very black and white, so usually it's
I thought these pictures were in color.
Usually it's very, it's either going to be a 0 or a 10. So I'm trying to be fair, just because we come from a Yelp world, and I would hate to get like a 1-star Yelp review. Overall experience with VHT Studios, 7. Would I use their services again? Nope. I'm not an agent.
Well, to be fair, you're a mystery spotter, a mystery shopper. You went out and you shopped.
Well, to be fair, they were offering this $299 package, and they didn't have any limitation on square footage from what I saw. So, if I have a 10,000 square foot listing come up, maybe I might have used them instead of sending one of my guys out and having to pay, but I'm very loyal to my photographers. I would still do that anyway. But, there could be some advantage if they're offering $299 as a flat rate when you're doing a 100,000 square foot.
So this is just an interesting thing for Matterport service providers to consider, is if Matterport Digital Pro VHT Studios does not cap the square footage, and you get a 10 or 15,000 square foot listing, you might consider just engaging them to shoot it and still do everything else yourself. Yeah.
Yep. You would have to get access to be able to edit the tours, and that would be a big thing too. I would want to be able to edit the tours.
That's a good question, because you don't have access to the tour. Were you able to have the tour transferred to your account?
Well, I came in as a homeowner.
Yes.
I assume, they should offer, a short sightedness for them. They should offer a B2B solution where, other, if I got busy.
Well, but that's Matterport Capture Services on Demand. So they have a product for that. Incidentally, I think one of the things is totally confusing, because you notice every time I say Matterport Digital Pro, I also say VHT Studios. And I noticed the email that you shared from VHT Studios in the We Get Around Network forum says Matterport Capture Services in a couple of places. So which solution?
Yeah. Right here, Capture Services Coordinator. So this, and here's another thing with the form, I clearly registered as a homeowner. They set me up as a homeowner, not as an agent. So these don't apply to me. Maybe they could have stuff geared towards homeowners or property managers.
I'm sorry, I took you off screen share. Were there any other questions that they asked that you're dying to answer?
No.
All right. So sum up the experience for us. You got 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Someone comes up, the Matterport service provider comes up to you and says, "Hey, Tom, I understand that you did the $299 Matterport Digital Pro bundle. Were you happy?"
I was, no, I wasn't happy. There was more to be desired. I had high expectations, and not just coming from a photography business owner, but coming from a customer who's paying for a service. I totally was disappointed by the missed bathroom scan. I totally was disappointed by that one shot of the bathroom that had the walls all discolored. And I was disappointed about the number of images. And those are the 3 points for me where I was like, okay, as a person paying for the service by way of you, my gracious sponsor, I would be disappointed. I wouldn't use them again, even if they made it right. Because, think about this. You clean a house as a homeowner, you have kids or whatever, you get your house all nice and tidy, somebody comes out and does it, and then you're like, I can breathe, and everything comes out of the closets and the kids tear up the house. And then you have to have a service provider say, hey, we missed something, can we come back? I really hammer that in with my photographers. Don't miss anything, because you're inconveniencing the agent, you're inconveniencing the homeowner. It's a huge deal.
Do you want to send them a message and see if they'll come out? Not that you'll actually take them up on that, but just to see if they'd come. No, well, I guess you said you figured they would, if they asked, they would show up. So it's not worth asking them.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to fill out the form, and I'm going to put those comments in the additional comment section, and I might send them an email, and I'll just follow up in the We Get Around network and put their response to see how they handle it. If they're offering to come back out, or if they're offering for a partial refund, or if they're just like, deal with it tough.
Yeah, I really don't want $29.90 back. Our accounting team would not know how to deal with that that return of funds. But yeah. I am curious about whether they would, in good faith, come back out, even if we're not going to take them up on that.
Right.
Tom, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I think this is our 3rd time. I was going to ask for a parking spot out front with my name on it, but I think that unique link that you've provided me is gracious enough, so I appreciate it.
Awesome. We've been visiting with Scan Your Space founder and CEO Tom Sparks. Scan Your Space, a division of Sparks Media Group. Website is scanyourspace.com, scanyourspace.com, and also sparksmediagroup.com. You can find Tom at info@scanyourspace.com, in the We Get Around Network forum at Scan Your Space. On YouTube, Tom has an awesome YouTube channel. Not hard to find. Just Google Scan Your Space YouTube channel.
Sorry, Sparks Media Group YouTube
Excuse
channel.
Me. That it would be harder finding it based on how I say. So Sparks Media Group YouTube channel. Awesome. And as soon as we're done with the show, Tom is going to publish nearly an hour of his experience at every step of the way, kind of recording it in what was happening. And that'll be on the Sparks Media Group YouTube channel and published in the We Get Around Network forum. And again, you can find all Tom's content, WGAN.info/Sparks Media Group takes you to the We Get Around Network forum, organized by the tag Sparks Media Group.
And it's not just an hour of me talking on that video. There is comparisons between their tours versus mine and their photos versus mine. So there's a little more than just hearing me blabber on for an hour.
It really is awesome. If you're a Matterport service provider and you want to do a deep dive into Matterport Digital Pro, for that matter, if you work for Matterport, you work for VHT Studios, you want to improve your product and service, watch Tom's video. He's giving you a gift on how to improve your service. For Tom Sparks in Sassoon City, California, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network forum, and you've been watching WGAN-TV live at 5.